Okay, good morning, readers. Thanks for joining us. Staff writer for LMP Ryan Mellon here, and joining me is Millersville University meteorologist Eric Horst. We're going to be talking about today's snow event and maybe looking ahead to the future snow that we might be dealing with. So, Eric, I'm looking out the window here, and it looks like flurries have not started to fly yet, at least at 8 West King. Can you tell me the time frame? What are we looking at here?
Yeah. Well, it just started to snow in York about 20 minutes ago. So the snow will be crossing the Susquehanna River into Lancaster County any minute now. I would imagine Elizabethtown and Marietta and Columbia will see their first flakes by 11:30, and then probably to Lancaster City around noontime, and then all of the county should be seeing some light snow by, let's say, 1 o'clock. The steadiest snow then falls across the county this afternoon. It may be kind of intermittent and of varying intensity. This is not a big storm. It's just a fast-moving clipper. So, off and on snow throughout the afternoon. Temperatures in the low 30s, so it'll stick on untreated surfaces. And I think total snowfall, 1 to 3 inches, is the best bet. I kind of think, most places seem more like the 1 or 2 end of the range, but I can't rule out a few spots get 3 inches. The steady snow will end around sunset, so of course the afternoon rush hour is going to be, at least on the back roads, treacherous. PennDOT's out there. I would expect main roads will just be wet.
Okay, that's good news for most people. So I know a lot of schools were sending students home early.
Sure,
You think that's the right call, just playing it safe in that way?
Absolutely. With the steadiest snow hitting, between 1 and 5 p.m., that's when school buses are out there typically in the afternoon. So by getting the kids home before that time frame, I think it's the right move for sure. And again, it's not a big storm, but sometimes an inch of snow on back roads can be worse than a deeper snowfall.
Absolutely. And you mentioned 1 to 3 inches. Can you just go into a little bit more of that throughout the county? Obviously, maybe I think some of the northern parts of the county might deal with some more snow versus the southern towards the Mason-Dixon line.
Yeah, well, temperatures as you get down around the Maryland border are right around freezing. So there actually could be a few drops of rain that mix in for folks right down at the Maryland border. So that would hold accumulations down perhaps a touch. Really, with a clipper like this, what you look for is sometimes there can be little bands, convective bands, almost like what you see with a summertime thunderstorm. So if you get one of those convective bands over your neighborhood, you'll get the 3 inches. Most places won't see that and will probably end up with the 1 to 2 inch range. But I can't really pick a spot that's more likely to see 3. I mean, the higher locations always seem to do better. If you're in the high terrain of southern Lancaster County or up in the Furnace Hills of northern Lancaster County, often you'll do better just because you're a couple of degrees cooler. But this is a nuisance storm. It's done by this evening. Actually, there may be a lingering snow shower overnight. So that's something that if you're out and about, perhaps you see a snow shower that moves through at 8 or 10 p.m. or maybe even after midnight that could provide an additional coating. But I think the main roads will be treated enough with salt today that they won't refreeze overnight. Now, the back roads, anything can happen there because oftentimes not all the back roads are treated by the municipalities.
Right, and I did speak earlier today with Rick Ferguson, county manager for PennDOT, and he did say that they pre-treated some of the roads, including 222, 283, and 30 yesterday. So they're kind of ahead of the game. They'll be out today. You mentioned some of it might be some wet snow. In terms of the type of snow, are there any indications from your forecast that it might be, it might pack a little more, or is that all temperature based?
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty wet snow. Good for snowballs. Probably not deep enough to make a good snow fort for the kids, but pretty wet snow. We are not in a really cold pattern anymore. I mean, the first 2 weeks of January were very cold. We averaged about 6 degrees below average the first 2 weeks of the month. Now we've settled in to more of an average pattern. High temperatures, yesterday, the last 2 days, we were in the low 40s. So the air mass around is not all that cold, and you tend to get a wetter snow. And like I said, even maybe some rain droplets mixed in over southern areas. Same story with the storm that may be coming for this weekend.
Right. And now, before we get into the weekend, overnight, what are temperatures looking like for possible refreeze in areas, and might we see some delays in the morning for schools?
I guess that's possible, but without any additional snowfall overnight, as I said, the main roads I don't think will be too problematic. And temperatures will not bottom out tonight. In fact, I think they're going to hold nearly steady in the upper 20s to near 30 overnight. So back roads that aren't treated, sure, they could freeze up. But main roads, which are treated today, probably have enough on them to just be wet overnight. Again, maybe a snow shower comes by in a few spots overnight and adds a few new slick spots. But I don't think tomorrow morning's rush hour is a big deal, not compared with what we're seeing or will see this afternoon.
Okay, yeah, and again, just a good reminder that the kids are home safe today, but parents and other people, community home in the afternoon, might need to be cautious out there in the roads.
Slow down, yeah.
Drive slow, and watch out for the PennDOT trucks. They always remind me of that one. When they're treating roads, they sometimes can't see you, so watch out for them. Now, let's get into the weekend a little bit. You said, I saw you tweeted out earlier this morning, 3 snow events are expected the next 7 days. What are we looking for, I think, on Saturday and maybe even into Monday?
Right. Well, tomorrow and into Friday look mainly dry and, like I said, seasonable. Temperatures during the day will be above freezing and then just below freezing overnight. The next storm is coming out of the south, and the time frame is Friday night into Saturday. There's still a lot of uncertainty because the storm hasn't formed yet. The jet stream disturbance is coming across the southwest U.S. today. It's going to arrive down along the Gulf Coast, the Gulf of Mexico, later tomorrow and into early Friday, and that's when the storm will actually form. So until that happens, I can't give you a precise forecast, but it looks like it's going to turn up along the coast. I do think it's going to brush us with some snow. Now, whether it's just a light brush, coating to an inch or two, or whether it's a plowable snow, that's something hopefully I can nail down during the day on Thursday. Right now, I think because it's a Gulf of Mexico storm, it has the potential to be the biggest storm of the season. It's not likely to be a crippling snow because there's a few missing ingredients, one of which is a real fresh, deep, cold air mass. Heading into the storm, temperatures are only going to be around 32, so we're going to be right on the fence again, probably more rain than snow in Philadelphia, and then here in Lancaster, maybe a little bit of both. And so those types of details, it's just too early to nail down. But the time frame looks like around midnight, Friday night, through midday or afternoon on Saturday. Potentially a few inches of snow, perhaps more, but it could also be still a miss, or it could be a wintry mix that doesn't really accumulate that much. So there's still a lot of options on the table right now for that storm.
Okay, well, we'll certainly be keeping our eye on that here at LNP and Lancaster Online. I'm sure we'll be talking with you later in the week, Eric, following that storm. To recap for today, it looks like we're looking at 1 to 3 inches throughout the county, and snow ending around 6 p.m. with some maybe flurries between 6 p.m. and midnight, you said. So.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah,
okay.
and just maybe a third storm to start next week.
We'll definitely touch on that one a little later on in the week. Let's focus on today and this weekend, and I know we'll get there. But thank you, Eric, for joining us today. Readers, thanks for tuning in to our live broadcast with Millersville University meteorologist Eric Horst. Thanks, Eric.
You're welcome.